planes are legitimately falling apart. I mean, one of my recent flights,
When the door is shut to the most exciting innovation, you can't attract the most talented people. They literally go to other industries. There are only two in the world. There's Boeing and Airbus. That's it. And Boeing is like trying to get out of a self-destructive tailspin.
how fast are planes flying today? Let's do miles per hour.
Yeah, well, let's see. So I think of these things in terms of percentages of speed of sound, which is it's 75 to 85% of the speed of sound today on a Boeing or Airbus. If you got a high-end private jet, you can go a little bit faster. And then Overture will do 1.7 Mach, so twice as fast.
What is that ground speed?
Around 1200-ish. It varies with temperature a little bit. So it's substantially faster.
Do you feel that when you're in the jet?
No. The one thing you'll notice when you go supersonic is it's slightly smoother. And you'll be at a higher altitude, so you're above more of the weather.
So no, nothing.
It's completely uneventful. On Concorde, they had a big screen that would show you the speed. And whenever it went through one, they'd celebrate and bring around champagne, make a big deal out of it, because otherwise you wouldn't notice.
No kidding.
And the day I'm looking forward to is in the past. I'm sure we'll do that too. The day I'm looking forward to is when the passengers say, "Would you stop with that? I just want to get back to my movie or my book or my email." I want to make supersonic flight boring, but at first we'll make it exciting.
Are any airports, is there any airports that are giving you guys, or maybe we're not there yet, but are they going to give you pushback about landing, taking off from?
I don't think so. We've committed that it's not going to be louder than today's airplanes, and we've committed it doesn't require infrastructure upgrades. And so for the most part, we get calls from airports saying, "Hey, would you tell us what we need to do? Because we want to welcome your airplane." And our answer is sit back, relax. You don't have to do anything. It just works. Wow. Now, of course, I'd love to redesign airports, but we don't need to. Not for supersonic
some
anyway.
Don't need that. But well, how are your competitors handling this, like Boeing and Airbus? They fly all over the place all the time for work. And the planes are legitimately falling apart. One of my recent flights, the overhead luggage bin fell off in the middle of all the luggage fell on the. It's just if you fly, you know what I'm talking about. They're all outdated. Planes are falling out of the sky, and in recent history, it's just crash after crash after crash, and things catching on fire, things falling apart. They're not innovating at it almost seems like they are purposely not innovating. It's just, let's just reuse this old shit over and over until it falls out of the sky.
I think there's some truth to that.
And then you come around with this.
Well, let me first paint a sympathetic picture here. Wright brothers forward to the first jets. Every generation of airplanes was faster than the one that came before it. That was the primary vector of innovation. And then, 1973, we outlaw increases in speed. So where does that leave Boeing? Yes, in some ways it was an own goal, but let's be sympathetic for a moment. All they can do is improve the design they've already got, just iteratively tweak it, right? So if you look at Boeing's latest jetliner, and you squint and you're not an aerospace engineer, it looks just like their first one. It's tube and wing, transonic airplane. Now think about what that does to kids and what industry they want to work in. I think there's a whole generation or two that did not go into aviation because the door was closed to innovation. And heck, I was one of them.
I'm not. That did not even cross. That's a damn good point.
Why is Boeing, literally falling apart? There are multiple threads to that story, but one of them is when the door is shut to the most exciting innovation, you can't attract the most talented people. They literally go to other industries.
That's a damn good point. I didn't think about that. So, are you getting any pushback?
From Boeing or Airbus?
Yeah.
Well, they've got their own problems to solve. I mean, so neither Boeing nor Airbus has built an all-new airliner since 2004. 2004, Boeing and Airbus launched the 787 and the A350. And since then, they have not done any all-new products. All they've done is take their existing things and tweak them. Airbus has been largely successful at that. Boeing has been, the 737 MAX has been a famous disaster. And so they've really just, Boeing especially, just gotten hollowed out. And I hope they can fix the company. Boeing's the only U.S. maker of airliners. There are only two in the world. There's Boeing and Airbus. That's it. And Boeing is like trying to get out of a self-destructive tailspin. They're not doing new products. They're trying to competently produce the products they already have. And it's not a good situation.
Is this like the days of McDonnell Douglas when Boeing acquired them?
Yeah, I think that's part of the story too. I mean, there's sort of a there was a sort of GE mindset that made its way to Boeing through McDonnell Douglas. That was kind of the Jack Welch playbook. That was, okay, the way you succeed in business is to know what Wall Street thinks you're going to do next quarter and beat it by a nickel. And if you do that, successfully through whatever machinations, you can make the stock price go up and to the right, and it works great until the day it doesn't. And the way you do that is by cutting a lot of long-term stuff. So the way Boeing ended up getting run was quarter to quarter. A lot of people say they got too focused on money and so they didn't care about safety. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's quite true. I mean, if you look at the results of their lack of focus on safety, it was the biggest financial disaster that ever had. They didn't pay off financially. The problem was their financial focus was short range, not long range. So Phil Condit left in 2004. I think he was the last good CEO over there. I'm fortunate to have him on our board now. And after that, we had people like Jim McNerney who explicitly said, hey, no more moonshots. And they meant no more new products. And I remember hearing that at the time. And I was in my 20s living in Seattle. Actually, I was living in a building called Concord. Maybe this is my destiny.
Are you serious?
I can't make this up. It was a little condo in downtown Seattle, a building called Concord, no E. But I remember reading that from Jim McNerney and thinking, what the heck, dude? You used to be in the literal moonshot business. And now you've just decided to give up? And by the way, if you can't attract young people before, now you definitely can't attract young people. And if you go 15, 20 years without developing a new product, you don't have anybody left who knows how to do it. Mm-hmm. And so the whole thing just devolves. At this point, by the way, we didn't mention how this is important to the country. Boeing's the number one U.S. exporter. And as you know, we've got a huge problem. We don't make things here anymore. Mm-hmm. Airplanes are one of the last things we still do. And we're fumbling that. It's a huge problem.
Yeah. Where's Airbus out of?
Toulouse, France. I mean, they're spread out all over Europe. Airbus is like approximately the European government.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.